Hey guys, so this week we will be covering two different chapters, Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. I think that they have a lot of good information within those chapters, but I'm also thinking that they're kind of just skimming the surface of some things that I want to go just a little bit deeper into. Now we're not going to go so deep into it that it could be a whole nother class, because the things that we are going to go into could always have another communication class. But we're going to go into Chapters 3 and Chapters 4, and I'm also going to have an extra reading up there that I would like you to read. Okay? So now looking at it, what we're going to be talking about is picturing yourself and others. Again, Chapters 3 and Chapters 4. Okay? So let's start off with, to going into picturing yourself, there's a lot of things that you can do. If someone tells you, like, hey, you look like you're sick, and then they tell you again, hey, you look like you're sick, and then someone else tells you, hey, you look like you're sick. No matter what, if you, at the very beginning of the day, felt perfectly fine, better than ever, after a couple of people tell you, hey, you look like you're sick, you're going to feel sick. That's the same with yourself. If you say, I don't feel well, I don't feel well, I don't feel well, you're not going to feel well. Now, sometimes you are throwing up into the toilet, and you just don't feel well. But the mind and how you communicate to yourself and how you communicate to others, with all of that, which goes into a lot of psychology, which communication and psychology are like sisters, that really goes into a lot of it, and how you can talk to yourself in self-communication, and also how you can perceive others. Okay? So moving on to our very first one is going to be the self-fulfilling prophecy. Basically, this is a giant circle, and this is in your textbook. But you first start off and you form expectations. Let's say you're going to say, I'm going to fail this test. I'm going to fail the test. I'm going to fail the test. I think I'm going to fail the test. And then you've communicated your expectations. You know what? You did not study, you're going to fail the test. Or you can tell someone else that too. You did not study, so you're going to fail the test, but I passed. Okay? So, also you do that, and then you respond and adjust. Oh, well, maybe I'm not good at this, and yeah, I'm not good at this. And then you come over here, and all of a sudden you fail the test. So, expectations become true, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you did it. You said at the very beginning, and it becomes a circle. So this whole mind over body is very true, especially within communication. You form expectations and you keep telling yourself that over and over again, then it's actually could really end up happening. So I keep telling myself, I'm going to get taller, I'm going to get taller, I'm going to get taller. I'm waiting for this to start happening, these three. I'm about here, okay? Now, that's self-fulfilling prophecy. You tell yourself something and it self-fulfills because of your mind. It's just how it works. Then going into Johari's window. When looking at Johari's window, there are 4 different quadrants, okay? Quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the textbook has it 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's incorrect mathematically, okay? So if you go into a mathematical class and you say 1, 2, 3, 4, you will be incorrect. But whoever wrote our textbook is not a mathematician. So they did 1, 2, 3, 4. Trust me, my wife has a math degree and my mom is a math teacher. I know that that's incorrect. Okay, now going into this, there are 4 different sections. Known to self and not known to self. And then over here, known to others and not known to others. So let's first go where the first 2 cross, okay? So known to others and known to self. That is called open. You are open in this instance. It's open information. Of course you know it. I know it, you know it, it's open, okay? I'm the professor. I know it, you know it, it's out in the open, okay? Now let's move on to the next one. Let's kind of go over here to known to self, but not known to others. That's called blind. Like, for me, my voice sounds like it's a deep voice, like Morgan Freeman. No, not quite that deep. But I don't know that my voice is high-pitched, even though I do now. But let's just say I don't know my voice is high-pitched, but you know it's high-pitched. I'm blind to the knowledge that my voice is high-pitched because I think it's deep, okay? Now let's go right here. Known to self, but not known to others. This is called hidden. It's the things we keep secret. I have secrets, you have secrets that I know, but I don't want you to know, or you don't want me to know. So I'm not going to tell you, so it's hidden, okay? I know it, but you don't know it. And then finally, not known to self and not known to others. This is just unknown. There's so many things that we do not know about ourselves. And there's so many things that others don't know about ourselves. So that's hidden. Now, sometimes this is very equal. But in excuse me. And other times, this is not as equal. You could have it where where you're very open, so it could look more like this. Okay, where the unknown is very small and the open is very wide. Okay, or you can switch it where it looks more like this. Okay, where the open, not a lot of people know stuff, you don't know a lot of stuff about yourself. Okay, so they do not have to be equal, but they can be, and it's just easier to draw it that way. But realize that one person is not like this. Sometimes you might be equal, and other days you might not be equal. Other events or scenarios it changes depending on where you are. Okay? So knowing that, you're not going to be able to know everything, and if you're excellent in, let's say, communication like I believe I am, and then you go into a science room, it changes a lot. Okay? Different events, different scenarios. Now, moving on to can't talk. You can read the word up there. Moving on. Perception. There we go. I kept wanting to say precipitation. Perception. Now, to define perception, it's the process in which we make sense out of an experience. Okay? In your textbook, it has a lot of different things, and we're going to go into... I can't say it. We're going to go into it just a little bit more. And when we go into it, we're going to be looking at different things and how different people have different views and different outlooks on things. So if we start off with this goes into how we can even say that this picture, do you see two faces? Or do you see a vase? Are you able to see both? It's just the view that you see it and how you see life and how you see images and different things like that. It also can go in, do you see a duck or do you see a rabbit? Okay? It goes into the different view that you have on it. Okay? Now, you can argue with this that this goes into a lot of it, and this is why we need a lot of different people. Some people see duck, some people see rabbit, some people see both, some people can't ever see one or the other. But the thing is, this could be for some people are Republican, some people are liberal, or Democrats, however you want to say it. But you need to look at everyone has a certain opinion and everyone has a certain viewpoint that needs to be respected. You might disagree with them, but you need to respect their view because they could see things you do not. They might see the duck, and you might only see the rabbit. So everyone needs to have different diversity, as we talked about last week. Okay? And you need to look at the different viewpoints. Now, that goes into the pronoun problem. This is going to be our activity, our discussion for this week. Okay? So what I need you to do is pull out a pen and a paper, or it could be a pencil. You just need to pull out a piece of paper and something to write on. So pause it until you get that. Okay, if you haven't paused it or you're not ready, then pause it, okay? But what we're going to do is I'm going to read you a sentence. And it's just the very start of the sentence, and then you're going to move on, and you're going to say he or she. There's no right or wrong answer. Write he or she. And there's no she-he, okay? Just he or she. After I read it, you'll just write he or she, and then I'll explain what you're going to do later. Okay, so there's 1 through 10, and all the answers are going to be either he or she, or S or H. Okay? Number 1, before a physician gives a final diagnostic. That's when you would write he or she. Before a physician gives a final diagnostic. Number 2, before a person buys clothes. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. It's your viewpoint. Number 3, before a babysitter puts the baby to bed. Number 4, before a person loans another person money. Number 5, before a nurse delivers medicine to a patient. Number 6, before a judge begins a trial. Number 7, before an engineer inspects a bridge. Number 8, before a librarian lets students surf the web. Number 9, before a teacher grades an assignment. And number 10, before an attorney accepts a client. Before an attorney accepts a client. Now, if you're at this point and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't remember that one, I need to rewind, then you are not doing the activity correctly. What you need to do is, after I say it, you need to just write he or she, whatever first comes to your mind, okay? So it shouldn't take you too long to write he or she. So if you're gonna have to rewind it, only do it one more time and write quickly what you think. There are no right or wrong answers. Now what I want you to do is you have a piece of paper that says 1 through 10 and it has he or she on it. For your discussion, what you're going to do is you are going to then go and discuss, you post on the discussion and say, here's my answers, 1 through 10, he or she, whichever one is, and then describe to me why you believe that you put he or she or different things like that. It might also help if you want to rewind it to put like number 1 is attorney or number 10 is attorney, different things like that, so it's easier to be said. Okay? So, and I'm going to post these again so it's easier for us to see them, but just really post like number 1, final diagnostics, he or she, whichever one you picked. So you're going to put on there number 1, he or she, whichever one you did, and then you're going to explain, I believe this because I have this experience, or my dad's a doctor, or my mom's a doctor, or my mom's a veterinarian, or something like that. You're going to explain why you picked that one and defend your answer. Again, there's no wrong answers, only right answers. But you're going to tell us why you picked that way. And then I want you to look at other people's posts and say, hey, we have the exact same, or wow, yours is complete opposite of mine, or we have something similar. That's very interesting. Hey, I also have someone like that, or I also had that viewpoint, or I never thought of that viewpoint before. Okay? So I want you to look at that, and that's your discussion for this week. So post it and have the discussion going on, okay? Now, moving on to the final part. Gender gap. I will post an article to the online class, and it's called the Gender Gap article. I will also post videos called Lean In and different things like that that talk about how everything happens. But I really want you to read this Gender Gap article, and the other videos are for fun. I really like them. One of them is a TED Talk, and the other one's just a fun YouTube video, so I recommend watching it. And this article talks about how they are still a huge gap between men and women, not just in the pay field or field of getting paid, but it talks about how women are nervous to apply for jobs if they're not 100% fitting the job. If there are 5 things that a woman has to do and she fits 4 out of the 5, she won't apply for the job. But if a man applies for a job and there's 5 things and there's only 1 that he fits, then he's just going to apply for it and get it. So I want you to read the article and then write a paper over it. You're going to write it, look at the prompt I post, write the paper, and then move forward with that. Okay? And that is your participation for the week. Discussion is do the pronoun thing that we just did, and then participation is going to be the Gender Gap article assignment. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, you have a great week. Bye.